that shit on the headlight.
Well, welcome to FINS TV. I'm your host, Sammy, aka FINS Bolsones. I lost with my co-host, Steve. Hi, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Sammy, happy Wednesday. How are you doing, sir?
Well, we're doing better. We're in the playoffs. That's the good news. The bad news is, you know what happened. We had the AFC East title within reach. We were so close, but after all season ahead in first place, we couldn't reach it. But we're in the playoffs. So we'll see what the future brings.
We are in the playoffs, and I definitely know that there was a different feeling this year because in years past you hear that in the hunt, always watching to see, we're not in the playoffs yet, but if all these pieces fall into place, what's going to happen? How can we get into the playoffs? We were there. We were locked in for 3 weeks? Mm-hmm. And so I will say it was refreshing not to be nervous about that, but the NFL schedule makers, they knew what they were doing. Let's put Buffalo, Miami, final game of the season. It really just fell perfectly into place for that. And it was, we had it within our grasp. We definitely did. And we'll talk about it throughout this episode here. But it stings. This one definitely stings. Maybe a little bit worse than in years past. But, we'll talk about it, Sammy.
That's the point to be talked to, right? What was worse, to never be to love and lost, or never love at all?
It's a very good way to put it. Very good way to put it.
Absolutely. So on this episode, there's no tomorrow. No, some fans are turning on Tua, some fans are turning on McDaniel. We'll see what's next. What's the future hold for the Dolphins? We'll talk a little bit about that. Also on the show, well, it's round 2 for Tua against Mahomes in the frozen tundra of Kansas City. And we're going to talk about the keys to the game. We have to see what McDaniel might do in this game. He certainly did some questionable calls during that second half. The Dolphins couldn't have a better game plan, but we're going to sure talk about that. So first, we're going to start with the highlights of the AFC East Championship game.
In the backfield. He's got it on the flip, going the opposite direction. And Achan turns the corner, has a first down. Hill in motion, turning up the field. Tua looking that way, Tua throwing that way. Downfield, Bedford undercuts it. Dolphins bring the heat. Allen retreat. And he throws an interception. Jeff Wilson's now the back. He's headed out. And Tua throws on the run river. Great
passing game. You can't get it to him.
With the fake now, throws to that open space. There's Tyreek Hill. Taken off. The Bills taking over their own 11. Second drive. Pressure picked up. Allen's got time. Shot downfield. Diggs is wide open. He couldn't hit him.
Been really famous for over the last few years.
Shakir, nice catch. Good block. Shakir down the sideline. And Khalil Shakir at his terrific speed. He releases. He didn't even get out. Van Ginkel took him away. Josh flips it towards the end zone to Davis. Intercepted. 3rd and 14. Bills bring 4. Tua fires. High but brought in. On this Miami team. Here's a similar look with that pitch to the right. Wilson inside the 10. Achan, touchdown. Devon Achan uses that speed on the pitch. 2nd and 7. Miami bringing the pressure again. Allen fade away fling. Diggs down there. And Stephon Diggs, receiver. Make the give over the top, deflected in the air. Sherfield drags his feet. Touchdown.
No.
Keeping an eye on the update as the night goes on. Here's Achan. Touchdown last time. At 3rd and 3 for Miami. And Tagovailoa. Tua fires the flag down. Cedric Wilson's got him. Tagovailoa throws. Touchdown. Tyreek Hill in front of Benford. Puts Miami back in front. And he sticks the landing. These teams and the title. Allen slings it inside. Stops toward the goal line. They're not going to get a playoff. And the half will come to an end. Ty Johnson is stopped. Just short. Eli Apple. Here come the Dolphins. Allen got away from one. Couldn't get away from the second. And he's brought down. And then 4 trips to the red zone. 1 score. Tua to the window. Back-to-back possessions. Jake Bailey with a big punt. Sends Deontay Hardy all the way back to the 5. Has some space. Takes off. Look out, Hardy. Gets a block downfield. Hardy's going to go. He's in midfield. Nobody's going to catch him. Deontay Hardy, 95 yards. Gets out now. Allen designed run. Propels himself into the defense. You guys got to be nuts to do that. Josh Allen with 38. Deep drop. Sling down the sideline to the tight end. Diggs in motion. Allen looked his way. Now throws. It's Shakir down the sideline. Look in motion. Allen throws. It's caught to the end zone. Knocks. Buffalo. And they do go. And Allen surfs over the top and has the first down. Wow. 3rd and 10. Allen back. He's throwing inside. Shakir. Short the first down. Allen keeps. Surfs over the top. Keeps going. Gets pushed. The spot is coming down the 36-yard line. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. So it's a 4th. Braxton Berrios in motion. Tua throws. It's complete. Ran midfield. Durham Smythe. Tua throwing. And it's intercepted.
Well, you know how that ended. The Dolphins had a chance. It was really truly a heavy fire. Unfortunate to be there at the game. The crowd was around 65-35 Bill fans. A lot of Bill fans, but they were quiet during that first half. Once they got that kick return, everything changed. The momentum went back to the Bills, and the game. The snowball effect we talked so many times here at FINS TV. But Steve, I want to know your thoughts about the game.
Yeah, well, last week we talked about how the Ravens game was a model for what the Dolphins can't do in a game. And I'd like to say, it's not when I say they can't, coming this late in the season, you can make those mistakes early on, but coming this late in the season, you just can't have it. And I'd like to think that the team did a pretty good job of really changing that around. At no point up until that punt return for a kick you just mentioned that we just saw, did I feel like they were out of the game. The momentum was in our favor at times. The crowd got really, really quiet because, frankly, there was just way too many Buffalo Bills fans in attendance there, but they hushed them. The defense, God, they did their jobs. You intercept 2 times, you strip sack, fumble recovery, thank you, Wilkins, and you stop them at the goal line. Baker, man, what an absolutely devastating hit he put on there to end that half to prevent a touchdown. And then to stop them on that fourth down try to give us that ball back, to give us the opportunity to go down the field. It was just tough. We didn't hit a slippery slope there at any point during the game. I don't feel like the defense necessarily stopped Josh Allen. He still put up some great numbers, but they made key turnovers to prevent those drives from cashing in. They did what needed to be done to give the offense the opportunity to do what they needed to do. And again, it was just that unfortunate punt return that even the announcers said right afterward, they're like, man, it's almost, you wonder if this is like a huge momentum shift. The crowd, the Buffalo Bills fans in attendance absolutely went nuts. You could feel that energy really just sap out of us. And it was tough, all year long. I mean, even dating back to the Ravens comeback from 2022 season, all season long on the Hard Knocks episodes, you've heard Coach McDaniel talk about how the team responds to adversity. After a loss, he stands in front of his presser, talks about this is like adversity that we need to respond to. And there was a lot of adversity in that game. I think there's a lot more post-game, especially with the injuries that keep on stacking up. It's tough to swallow. Again, we said it at the opening that we were very happy to be in the playoffs, but that wasn't what we had hoped for. And we had higher hopes. I know the team had higher hopes. I would say they had more expectations than hopes, but it was just a really tough way to end the season on that loss. But hey, we are in the playoffs. We just got to find a way to bounce back.
Absolutely. The defense, certainly, the Bills could have 24 more points if you think about it. The two interceptions, basically, that could have been touchdowns. The goal line stop on the 1 yard by Baker, that's seven more points. And the field goal, the sack fumble that Wilkins stops is 3 more points. That could have been a blowout if the defense didn't. They truly were the playmaking defense that we needed, that we were waiting for. The Dolphins had more than a lot of chances, but once the second half started, the offense was not the same. I don't know if the play calling was Tua, way too many things. The snowball effect, the phone return. I heard somewhere that the special teams coach said that the Dolphins were number one at kickoff, punt return defense up to that moment. I don't know if that's true, but 2 weeks in a row when they give up a huge return, I don't know. We've always been critical of the, well, I mean, some of us, of the special teams coach, but the special teams certainly had an impact on this game. Way too huge. Sanders had a great year, had a great season. We were afraid of what we were gonna do. He cleaned up his act, but the kick return game was not good enough. It cost us basically. I don't know if it cost us last game because I don't know if we ever had a chance last game, but certainly it was a nail in the coffin. And this week, the momentum change was just too much.
Oh, the momentum change was too much, and of course it comes when Bailey has one of his best punts that I can remember. I mean, the guy fielded it inside his 5, right at the 5 yard line. Huge bombing punt.
Yes, and
it wasn't even like he outkicked his coverage. The guys were down there, and I don't know if it was Ingold and Good running into each other and creating a hole right there. Whatever it was, he didn't outkick the coverage. The people were down there. It was just a perfectly timed, perfectly located run back. I do think that injury, the two players running into each other, did create a gap for him to run through. But you'll never know. We'll never know. It's just one of those other things that you see one thing that happens in a game, whether it's Tyreek dropping that first touchdown or that touchdown in the end zone against the Ravens. You just don't know what happens from that point with the teams and how they played the rest of the game. So, yeah. It was really tough to watch.
Absolutely. That key return, he only had to run 10 yards, and he was wide open for the rest of the field. So I even got a feeling that they felt they were gonna let it go. They had already someone give up on the play, and they saw him running like, okay, we're still playing. Like it was surreal. It was just a weird play. Very weird. So without further ado, we're gonna go to esteemed panelists, the FINS TV crew of Matt Armstrong, the controversial Eddie Chaput. Good evening, guys.
Matt, Eddie.
Good evening.
Hey, everybody.
Good evening, guys. Happy New Year. It's not the outcome we expected, of course. We had high expectations. Firstly, I had given the Dolphins prediction of a 12-5 record. That was my expectation. The Dolphins could have won that Tennessee game, and that this game would have been meaningless. But I'm going to start with you, Matt. I want to know your thoughts about the game against the Bills.
3 plays separate the Miami Dolphins from the AFC East championship, from at least one home game. 3 plays. And those plays are the luckiest touchdown pass that Josh Allen's ever thrown to Trent Sherfield. Give him props. I knew it as soon as I saw where his feet were in the end zone that it was a TD. The second play, it's indisputable if you watch the video that Cameron Good and Ingold smashing into each other. That's all that returner needed was that little crease, and he was gone. You watch it from behind the play. Uh, Cameron Good just bad luck. Call it what it is. And then the third play is the one that maybe nobody's even thinking about, but it sticks with me. Claypool rounded off his route as opposed to doing a sharp cut out, and gave the defender the opportunity to get in there and take the ball away. Those three plays, in my opinion, are the plays. And to Sammy, to your point, my counterpoint is the Bills. They didn't show me anything. They were the luckier team. You can't convince me they were the better team. The scoreboard says what it says, and I am not being bitter here. Congratulations to the Bills. You're the AFC East champs. But that game really pivoted on three plays. If you take a look, in my opinion, if you take a look at the entire game in its totality, the Dolphins had an answer for everything with the turnovers, uh, the play by Baker at the end of the first half. Guys, that's something that happens to the Dolphins for the last 20 years, and nobody could dispute that. I jumped off the couch like, yes, this is the luck that we've been wanting. And yes, luck is a part of this game. Three plays, guys. But we're still in the playoffs. We're still in the playoffs, and we proved last year that we could play in a cold weather environment. Now, Kansas City might be a little bit colder this week than Buffalo was a year ago, but I'm aware that I'm the optimist on this panel. But I really believe the Dolphins have a fighting chance. Waddle's back. Um, Raheem's back. The offensive line is relatively intact. I got a good feeling. The Chiefs have proven, and we'll talk about it later on in the show, but the Chiefs have proven that they are not the Chiefs of last year or years before. I think the Dolphins, if they stick to the game plan, if you're running for 100 yards in the first half, maybe you want to continue that in the second half. Those are my thoughts on the game Sunday.
Yeah, I understand that. I get what you're saying, but again, the Bills also left some place on the field. That Diggs was so wide open, I thought that was a touchdown. I was like, I thought it was I could not believe that Josh Allen missed him. It was with him too. Would still be burning.
Oh,
on him.
yes.
Yeah, it was incredibly wide open.
To Diggs.
Yes, it was like it was not me. The whole crowd was like could not believe what was happening, and he missed that throw. That was
And look who it was against. It wasn't Eli Apple.
No, it
I've got my
was
digs on
Ramsey.
Eli Apple,
Ramsey.
but Ramsey got froze
It's
on
been
that route.
It's been a couple of weeks that Ramsey has not. I don't want to say has not playing. He's playing bad, but he's not playing to the standard as he started the season. That happens with the Rams also last season. He got a great first half of the season, and then he started dwindling to the end. So it's coming back from injury. Everything it could be a lot of things, but 2 weeks in a row, probably 3 weeks in a row, the Ramsey has not had a great game. Well, it happens. Eddie, I want to go to you. I know it was frustrating. We had a lot of expectations on the Dolphins, but I want to know the complete thoughts about the game, or Tua, about McDaniel, and everything in between.
I'll start with Ramsey. I believe he's shown up on the injury report the last couple of weeks, so the knee's probably bothering him. We don't know if he was supposed to have help over the top, because it doesn't seem like he would get burnt by Diggs by that bad, because Ramsey's as fast as Diggs. As for Idiot missing the throw, the past 3 weeks, his his completion percentage is 59.7. So of course he's going to miss a throw. So he made up for the play that I'd like to talk about to Sherfield. One,
Mhm.
Apple gave up on the play. As soon as
Yes.
the ball's tipped, go knock the
Yeah.
guy out of the end zone. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
you can do whatever you want. You can knock him over. You can throw him down on the ground. The other part of that play, how many times did we get called for linemen down the field?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
There was 3 Buffalo offensive linemen at the goal line when he threw the ball. I had to watch my mouth there.
Censor.
I censored myself.
There's no censor here. You can say it. No, Gary.
But
It's a family show.
I'm not blaming the refs.
Don't watch
but,
kids.
I mean, if you're going to call it on us, call it on them. But that Eli actually played a decent game besides falling 47 times. I think he would have had a touchdown if he would have got up and ran, but he didn't.
Oh,
The
great point, Eddie.
oh my God,
Absolutely.
how many times could you slip? That looks like me. After an all-nighter. The other,
Morning.
yeah, the other couple plays Matt brought up. That was the laziest route I've ever seen in my life by Claypool. I don't know what he was doing. Was he doing a circle? What he was doing there? Matt, help me with your other play. The different.
The punt return.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
The one thing, that was a great punt. It was high.
Yep.
It was everything. People were down there, but the one point we're all missing it. Everybody's missing it. That the injuries on this team affect the special teams too, because
Yep.
then the special team players are playing a role that they shouldn't be playing on the field. So they're swapping in and out. I remember they didn't have enough guys. Long had to come in on one of the plays during a punt, or I think the one punt Buffalo had. As for the other stuff, we ran for 100 yards in the first half. I think the third quarter we had a play, 3 plays. Did we have in the
Yeah.
whole quarter?
Yeah.
I mean, one of them was a run, maybe 2. Get a first down. Your defense came out there. You stopped them right away. So it was 14-7 after half. Buffalo got the ball. You stopped them. You got the ball. 3 plays. You never saw the ball again until the end, I believe, of the fourth quarter. I don't know if it's McDaniel's play calling with the run. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why Tua throws the ball to Tyreek Hill like he's 6'3", but he keeps getting him hurt. He does. He keeps throwing it. Hill's dropping it, but Hill is hurt. I mean, you can see it's hurt. He's not the same player right now. I don't know. With Tua, it's almost better if Hill misses the game and Waddle plays. I think he looks for Hill too much. What happened? Craycraft in that was that the first series? He hit Craycraft.
Yeah.
That was a great pass to Craycraft.
Yes.
Not one throw to him the rest of the game.
No.
Durham
He had
Smythe.
a great half of the season during the first 6 games.
Yes.
Greenwell was a weapon. I don't know what happened over there. You're right.
Durham Smythe playing his butt off the last few weeks, blocking and catching. Threw to him a couple times. Then nothing else. I don't know. I am not picking on players. I don't have the talent. I never had the talent they have. But to me, 2 guys are taking up roster spots that they could bring up practice squad players for. That's Claypool and Chosen. I do not see them working hard out on that field at all. And as for if you want somebody that worked hard, you look at if you watch Hard Knocks last night, it's probably the best episode of the year. To see what Baker did after he dislocated his wrist. He played a half of football with a dislocated wrist, and he still played his butt off. I feel so bad for him. But that's the kind of player you need. You don't need a guy that is running around like he's on a carousel on one of the most important plays of the game. Anyway, that's it for me. That was way too much. Sorry.
Before I go back to Steve, let's hear a comment here for Tampa Branch Media Associate Cherry. If you're that hurt, Don't do backflips.
Yes, that too.
That was my thoughts exactly. I was like, oh, he's fine then. Oh, he's doing backflips. He must be fine. But he got a lot of. They were putting a pounding on him, to be honest. Every time they had a chance to tackle him, every had a chance he went for the ball. They were really putting bodies in. They knew he was hurt, or they know they had to find a way to be physical with him because he really was taking a pounding. So, Steve, before we go to the next segment, that's just about the game against the Bills.
Sammy, everybody here actually brought up some really good points. Sammy, you mentioned there was like a 24-point swing off of the turnovers we were able to pull there. And I hadn't looked at anything from the stat lines really, but the Bills had a 17-minute advantage in time of possession. And really, it's no surprise. I mean, you look at that second half, what do we have? 4 total drives? Up until the last drive, we had 1 first down, few punts. It really was just an entirely bad game in terms of that second half and what we put together. And the defense, they played lights out considering what they were given. They were going up against a team that the first time around, they steamrolled the living hell out of us up in Buffalo. So I expected them to do those types of things. The things that went differently this time is we did get those turnovers. Another point before, Matt, you had said it, Eddie, you echoed it again. That lazy route by Claypool brings up another point. We hear a lot of times like, why are these players not getting an opportunity? Last year, Ezekamo didn't see the field at all. And everybody's like, why aren't these players playing? And this is a good example as to why newer or younger players on this team do not see the field, except when the entire team is in, triage and we've got to bring people in the week that we're going to be playing. There are precision elements to this offense that you have to be able to execute on. Claypool, chosen, aside from the fact that they're not going lights out and running as hard as they possibly can every time, they are not running those precision timing routes that this offense relies upon. And I've said it many times, everybody said it many times throughout the season here on FINS TV, something seems to be off with Tua. First half Tua in a lot of games is different. I saw somebody post on X earlier this week that it almost seems as if by the time the scripted plays are up, they've got to get into some unscripted plays. They come out, they know their first 20 plays that they know they're going to run. And then once they get out of that, we're in the second half and something seems to be off. I don't know if he's throwing more off of his back foot. Something is not the same in terms of how he was throwing it in the first half of the season to how let's narrow that down. From the time the month of December came along against the tougher opponents, he hasn't been throwing the ball the same. And I've seen that. He's throwing it higher. He's causing Tyreek to have to jump every single time he's doing those same routes. And I also got to think part of it's the defense falling back. So Tua's got to throw it a little bit higher to get over that deeper set of coverage. But Eddie, dead on. I saw that Claypool catch again. That was a ball in the dirt in the end zone. Tua picked it up and threw it right on spot for a first down to Craycraft. Not enough of the players are getting the share of the offense where all the defenses have to do is, first of all, if we ran for 100 yards in the first half, they crowded the box. I noticed that they were absolutely crowding down in the box. I'm thinking, got to be really cool if we could get somebody fast to just do a quick jet sweep, hit Achane on a swing route or something. Do something to make them regret putting that many people down. But they dared us to run. I think we ran it a couple times, but they stopped us, throw it incomplete, and we punt. So something just seems to be off. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but again, I know when the Jalen Phillips injury came along, we resisted talking about it on the show, and then we've seen just so many, but we've really hit a breaking point with this team on the defense, especially with the injuries have really, truly impacted this team. We've lost our top 4 defensive ends. Between Ingram, who are the new guys?
Houston, Irvin, Houston, Malik Reed's on the practice squad.
And then we've got Ogba. So Ogba's the only defensive end who's been here all season long. He's the most experienced one in terms of tenure on the team this year. And then we've got Ingram. It's just a very, very tough mountain to climb over. But I think the thing that's kind of settling for me right now is I was very, very on edge leading up to the Bills game. Actually, for the whole week, I was just on edge. During the show last week, I was. And I had my hopes up. I've admittedly been zero expectations for the past few years. Prove me wrong. I'm not going to expect anything. I'm a fan, though. I'm a fan true all the way through. I have my hopes. I have my hopes up, and I expected things out of that. And we'll talk about it as we come up here into our feature segment. But I don't have expectations. I have hopes. But right now, we are in the playoffs. Knowing as injured as we are, what we're dealing with in terms of overall strength of team right now, I just don't have a lot of expectations. It'd be great to see us win, but I'm just looking forward to one more game at least this season.
Yep, you're 100% right. The only problem with that, once the game starts and we're leading in that game, I say, and then you know what happens. That's part of it.
I would have been very, very happy to have been proven wrong, and I know Sherry would have called it and said, hey, you didn't have hopes or expectations. She did. She's the eternal optimist when it comes to the Dolphins in this household. And she did call out that Tyreek backflip immediately. It wasn't just an armchair quarterback on Monday or Wednesday. She called it out immediately. She's like, what the hell are you doing backflips for? Your ankle's hurt. So
Absolutely. Matt and any last thoughts about the Bills game?
No, it's history now. Like I said before, congratulations to them. They're the champs.
They earned it. That's the truth.
They earned it. It stings. You had a 3-game lead. Every moron that wanted the Chiefs to beat wanted the Bills to beat the Chiefs. Are you happy now? But
Still, we should have been in the Titans, and we had not had that problem.
That too, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right?
Yeah.
There's so much.
And I tell you what, if that happens and we beat the Titans or the Bills lose to the Chiefs, they would have said, "Oh, but the Dolphins backtracking into the playoffs. They're good." There's no way we can win that argument, no matter what happens.
Shula's last year, they went into the playoffs without winning or losing. It was the deadest thing, and
the Raiders had to beat the Steelers or something like that at the end of the last game, the afternoon for the Dolphins to make the playoffs that year.
Right. And you don't want to do that. You got that 3-game lead, and it's a 2-game lead, and you have that confidence. Well, as I said last week, after the fiasco in Baltimore, we're in the playoffs. And to Steve's point about minimizing, hope, I respect that. And that just means that around 11:30 on Saturday night, we'll be cheering because we'll be looking at our next game the next week. And Sherry's Miss Optimist, so am I.
You are. You're Captain Positivity, Matt.
I have faith,
absolutely.
Man. And that's the thing. I'm totally with Steve on this. You know what? We made the playoffs. We made the playoffs last year with no hope of winning, and we were right there. Let's not forget that. Against those same flipping Bills. This year, everybody that can hear my voice knows that the Chiefs got freaking lucky in Germany. 2 completely different teams today due to injuries, but where there's a will, there's a way.
Absolutely. Any last thoughts?
I'll say this on the positive side: the drubbing they took in Baltimore to come back and play and keep that game close. 14-7 with the lead all the way till the punt return. As with the injuries mounting up in that game, they stuck in there, and it's a good locker room at least, and they do care about each other. They play for each other. So I was very proud of their effort. I mean, of course, you're going to get mad at them. It's just how we are. You have to. If you didn't, you wouldn't be a fan. But the way they got beat the week before, they really hung in there this week. So
absolutely, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that during the future segment about how there's no tomorrow for the Dolphins.
Out there yesterday saying this, and I mean it. There's a way to how do I do this? There's an algorithm Yep. There's a way to jigger the algorithm a little bit and come out and say, when things are going good, like, I think the Dolphins are a team to watch, and here's why. And a Dolphins fan base that hasn't had national media love, they'll cling to that and say, yes, tell us, please, person on television, tell us why we're so good. That was the case all season. You know, the Tyreek MVP talk, the Tua MVP talk, Dolphins #1 seed, Dolphins unbeatable, the McDaniel love, and everyone in our world was on this Dolphins bandwagon of sorts. That bandwagon's empty right now.
Yeah.
Quiet. A dust ball just blew through the alleyway of that bandwagon, and you're looking up and down the aisles, and there's no one there anymore. And to Dolphins fans watching, I would say this: good. You don't want Johnny come lately. You want it to be you guys, the ones who have been there through all the bad times, through all the losing seasons. And I almost think the Dolphins team needs to look at each other and say the same thing and say, we've got nothing to lose. There are no expectations. Everyone is pointing to the injuries. Everyone's looking at us going into Arrowhead. Everyone is saying that we don't have a shot. So what can we do to limit Mahomes and find a way to sneak one out of this thing in Kansas City? And to me, it's not the passing game, and it's not just relying on Tyreek. It's the running game. I watched this Buffalo game, and in the first half, I thought McDaniel was on fire with the play calls. They were doing all sorts of misdirections, sweeps, tosses, and Buffalo couldn't stop it. Yeah, Josh Allen threw a couple turnovers in the red zone. Miami capitalized. They ran the ball. They controlled the clock. It felt like Buffalo wasn't even on the field. Achane running up and down. Wilson doing his thing. They were blocking despite injuries all over the offensive line, injuries all over the field. And they had this touchdown. You're like, this is what they got. Look at what happened here. Now, I understand it's all about circumstance, and there's a game script to start the thing, and then it goes off the rails. It's no coincidence the game got out of their hands. They lost, and Josh Allen found a way to get this thing done.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. The media got the last laugh for sure. Well, for now, they have been proven right at this time, but the Dolphins are not what they thought they were. Fans are turning on Tua, fans are turning on McDaniel. The Dolphins are still alive, and they have at least one more chance to try to change the narrative. Tua and McDaniel have a lot to prove. We go there. Welcome to our feature segment for the week. There's no tomorrow. Co-host Steve Hallett with the FINS TV crew of Matt Armstrong, the controversial Eddie Chaput. I'm your host, FINS Sammy. The Dolphins led most of the year to the division. They had a chance to win the AFC East Championship, but they fell short. Lots of fans turning on Tua, asking for a trade for every name in the book. Some are saying that the Dolphins should go get Jim Harbaugh. They should change coaches. They should fire Chris Greer. They didn't have, is Chris Greer's fault because they didn't have enough. The bench, the depth was not enough. After the after the injury report had 18 names last week, that is because he didn't have enough depth. But I digress. Some fans truly believe that there's no tomorrow. There's no tomorrow because the day is today. The day is this Sunday. The Dolphins have one more chance to change the narrative. The Dolphins have one more chance to win on Saturday night. It's not impossible. They've done a lot of weird things that happened throughout the year, so it's not impossible. I want to start with Steve. I want to know your thoughts about everything that's going on, but how the fan base has turned on Tua, has turned on McDaniel, has turned on Greer, and they feel like, everything is going to hell right now.
It feels like it's going to hell because we're on the outside looking in. We're not in the inside. We're not on the team. We're not in the organization. And I know that, you're always really, really good with these feature segment tags and everything, but there is a tomorrow. I want you to go into that organization and look at them and ask them, is there a tomorrow for you? Why even show up if you don't think that there's a chance to play in Kansas City and win that game? You tell the guys that have been there since April, since mini camps, grinding, doing everything they possibly can to get themselves ready for this moment, that there is no tomorrow. Now, I'm really truly of the belief that the Dolphins don't have anything to prove anymore. To the point about bandwagons and that type of stuff, we know that the bandwagon fills up a lot more slowly than the hate train. The hate train fills up immediately as soon as a bad moment hits, as soon as a game comes along that it doesn't go the way that the media has really, really built it up to be, and they've got everybody in their corner and everything. They drop off, they start slamming us, and then here comes all the cockroaches out of the weeds into social media circles, and they can't wait to get on X or Twitter or Facebook or something like that and absolutely destroy the team because, haha, I told you so. That's the hate train, and it fills up very, very quickly. But I really, truly believe that this team has nothing to prove to us anymore. They have something to prove to each other. They have something to prove that this is why we've been doing this. They are a team that, I know injuries are part of the game, but man, we are a team. The Dolphins, they are a team that is absolutely decimated by injuries. They've been grinding all season long for a reason, and they have an opportunity here to show what it's all about. And when they've left it, hopefully they've left absolutely, if it's a defeat, hopefully they've left absolutely everything they possibly could on the field to know that they can wake up the next day and say, man, I regret not doing that better. Man, I regret not going 110% on that route or trying to make that tackle or something like that, because that's the regret is the worst type of thing like that. But I really, truly think that the team as a whole doesn't have much to prove. Coach McDaniel, yeah, he's got some things that he's got to clean up. Tua, hopefully he comes back and this is his redemption game for that dreadful, last drive against the Chiefs in Germany. But everybody can turn their backs. We're going to tune in. We're going to watch. We're going to support. A lot of people are going to brave that freezing cold up there, traveling to the game. And I hope for their sake that they at least go up, show up, put up a very good product. They don't have anything to prove to me anymore. I'm happy with what they've done this year.
That's a great way to put it. Matt, what are your thoughts about how everybody's turning on to McDaniel and Greer? There's no tomorrow. We talked about that before. How the sky is falling. That kind of falling theory, but right now, everybody's turning on to. Again, to be fair, it's fair to be disappointed. It's fair to be mad. I get mad too at the team during the game. I sometimes get mad after the game. It's to criticize, okay. But it's like Steve said, there are some people just waiting for that moment to say, "Ha! I told you so." See, there's two. I didn't. You cannot pay him 50 million. They're just waiting. There's something that I just can't understand. Why are you a team or so-called team of? They must be fair with the fans, Matt. I don't get it.
Well, first and foremost, if you were to go into that locker room tomorrow, you wouldn't hear one player stressing over what the media says about them. They might clown them. There's plenty of clowns in the media. And seeing what we see on Hard Knocks, it looks like a fun bunch. I can easily see Christian Wilkins having an opinion about any one of these clowns and what they say. And what Traeger said about the bandwagon being dusty, good. Those of us that have been here from day one, that's who I want to ride with. I've seen those tweets and I've read the fire everybody. Congratulations. You've watched football for 2 years now. You're an expert at it. Get rid of Greer. They should have signed this person. Congratulations. The trophy you won in Madden really translates over here into the real world. I don't care about those people. They don't matter to me because I don't think they're real fans. I see it in Steve's his frustration when he expresses it, whether it's on Twitter or when we're communicating, and I see it in Eddie too. But I also know you guys are real fans. I also know you guys know what the hell you're talking about. And I'm going to be blunt. And yes, it's a family show, but if you think for 1 second that getting rid of McDaniel, Greer, or Tua is the answer, please switch teams. Please. Pick any of the other 20, however many teams there are, 31 teams. Nope, sorry, there's 30 teams.
There's 32.
I know what he said. Sammy.
Jets do not
15 stadium. Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right.
I had to get my dig in.
Very good one. Very good one.
Go pick one of those teams, man. The Steelers have like 6 Super Bowls. Go cheer for them. That's a great program right there. The Patriots are never going to see what they've had over the last 20 years. Go join their bandwagon. I don't care about those people. I don't give a rat's ass about them. McDaniel undid everything that Flores did. Tua is not the same guy he was a year ago. Oh, by the way, how many games did Tua play this year? I don't have 17 fingers, but that's how many games he played. Oh, by the way, he's going to play an 18th, haters. Congratulations. I don't care about those people. I care about those that are cheering for the Dolphins to win against the odds. All of the injuries that they have sustained, it's just mind blowing. The Sunday night, it seemed like it was every other play, if not every play, there was another guy down. You know what? I'm going to ride with those guys. A year ago, they didn't give us any chance, and we nearly pulled it off with Skylar Thompson. Let's go, man. Let's go to Kansas City and play for each other. They don't care about what Stephen A. Smith said about them peeing the bed. They don't care about that Kyle guy who used to be on General Hospital. Steve, you used to watch him on there. He used to be on there, and what that clown says about his favorite teams. They don't care about that. They play for each other, and we know this because we see that every Tuesday on Hard Knocks. If I was the Kansas City Chiefs and if I was a Chiefs fan, I'd be a little bit worried. Corner dogs bite.
Absolutely. It's fair to criticize Tua. It's fair to criticize Matt Daniel. It's fair to criticize Steven Ross and Chris Villa and everybody. That's fair. I have no problems with anyone who say I'm tired about defending Tua. I expected more and I'm disappointed. I'm mad. That's okay. My problem, I'm talking for everyone else. My problem, Sammy's problem, is with the fact that those fans, so-called fans, that are just waiting for that moment to say, to bash Tua, to bash Matt Daniel, to bash the team, and say, "I told you so." That's my problem with that. Those are fair weather fans. Those are guys who's never been to a game, or probably haven't been to a game in the last 10 years. Are casual fans. They watch, they retweet, they criticize, but they don't see, they don't go to what most fans do. And I don't say I'm a bigger fan than them. They're fair to be a fan any way you want to. But the problem is that when you get to that point, to be a hater, to criticize, and I'm not gonna get even to the Barry Cunninghams of the world, the Philly teeth, whatever the crap talk that he is. They just live about bashing people. That's all they do. They live on the negative. I truly have a really big with those people because they're making money off of that. They're making money of bashing the team. They're making money of bashing Tua every single day on negativity. I truly, personally, I'm not speaking for Steve, for Eddie, or for Matt. I'm speaking about myself. I truly have a problem with that. And I know we're a small podcast where they have thousands and thousands on negativity. I will never be like that. Well, I'm sure you guys will never be like that. I'm the one who has a
Absolutely.
problem with that. But I want to, sorry about the rant, but I want to go to Eddie. I know you're frustrated. You were frustrated during the game. It's 100% fair. I was frustrated too, but I want to know your thoughts about the complete extreme negativity that some fans truly have.
Okay. There's a difference between me being frustrated, Steve, you, Matt, than somebody that looks for that team to lose so they can be happy. I don't think there's another team in this league that has more fans that want the Dolphins to lose so they can go out there and be
And
happy.
their fan base, yes.
It makes no sense to me. My dad says all the time it's because, even though we're from New York, he said it's all the people that came down here from up north and live down here now. They still secretly love that organization that's not a professional football team, or they like the Giants, and they root for Miami when they're good or whatever, but they want to bash them every chance they get. All right, now to some of your points. Chris Greer, has there been a bigger critic of his than me, Sammy, over the
I know.
first couple of years? No,
We
but
talked
this
about it
year,
before.
and last year, I couldn't ask for more from him. What he's done with draft picks, what he's done with depth on this team. Do you think any other team could have put together a run like this with the amount of injuries that they had? Fangio was asked today about injuries and Slomar. I'm going to go back to calling him Slomar Kelly again. Now he pissed me off again. Oh, every team's injured. Oh yeah, well, no, not like this. Fangio said he's been a coach, I don't know how many years. He's never been around a team that has been this many guys out at one time. He's never. The defensive ends had to introduce themselves yesterday to each other. The defensive end or linebacker, I guess they're considered linebackers. He came in and wrote 263 on the board. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. Mm-hmm. That's the amount of sacks them four guys have in their NFL careers together. Ingram, Houston, Irvin, Ogba. Ogba looked at Ingram and goes, how the hell did I become the youngest guy on this team? Youngest guy in this room. So Chris Greer has done an outstanding job. I am off the get rid of Chris Greer bandwagon. Yeah, he could have went and got a running back. He could have went and got a tight end. Maybe that's not what McDaniel wants. I don't know. So that's not in my thing. As for firing McDaniel, you got to be a freaking moron. What he's had to come in and do and undo, from that idiot we had before who was not a coach. He was, I think, Mussolini in training. The way he wanted to control everything. And put down players. He tried to ruin. Well, he got rid of Fitzpatrick. Look what he did to Austin Jackson. We all know what he did to Tua. So McDaniel had to fix all that. He's in his second year as a coach. Can he improve? Of course he can improve. Will he? The man is as smart as they come. I believe he'll improve.
And he'll mature too. So that's not
he's
to happen.
Better than last year. He's way better than last year. Mm-hmm. Tua, I don't know. I love that kid so much. I want him to do so well, but I just don't want to get stuck in the 7 years of defending.
Say it.
7 years of defending him like I did Tannehill, because I did. I defended Tannehill till he was kicked out the door to Tennessee. I just want Tua to succeed. I want a quarterback that's going to carry the team on his back when they need him. Because sometimes you need that quarterback. The rest of the team can play like crap, but the quarterback at the end can come down there and win a game. That's what I want from him. He's still young. He's still learning the thing. Just before they sign him to that big deal, they better make sure he is the right guy for the system, for this team. That's my biggest thing with Tua. I think he can make throws no other quarterback can make. He can drop them in like no other quarterback can. He's accurate. He's not good outside that pocket. He cannot scramble for yardage when you need him to. And he makes some boneheaded throws sometimes because I think he trusts in his receivers a little too much. That's my only problem with Tua. They got to make sure. I don't want Tannehill 2.0. That's all. And I'm not saying that he's going to be. I just want to make sure they're in the right direction.
On that point, I want to ask you two questions, guys. One, has Tua already been better than Tannehill ever was? Can we agree on that?
Yes.
I say yes.
Yes.
I don't think there's any. It's irrefutable. Mm-hmm. He's absolutely been better than Tannehill ever was in his time, and I'm a Tannehill fan. Eddie, you have a comrade in arms here. Every year I defended Tannehill, even his injury year. When he comes back, he's
There you go.
Yeah,
It's not a Waddle jersey.
I think that it is irrefutable that Tua is a better quarterback today than Tannehill ever was in his career.
How about you, Eddie? Do you think that Tua is better right now than Tannehill ever was?
This year, yeah, definitely better than any season Tannehill played.
And
Now, if the only thing I don't know is Tannehill went through 87 coaches, 87 offensive coordinators. His best receiver was, I think, Mike Wallace, and
Yeah.
the offensive line got him killed.
Mhm.
So I don't know him with McDaniel. Maybe he would have been better, but I can't do what ifs. Yes, Tua is better than Tannehill ever was on the Miami Dolphins.
And the second question is, do you guys believe that Tua is better this year than last year?
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah,
He had
hands
a better
down.
passer rating. He had a better
Well,
passer rating last year, but is he better this year than last year?
And you perfect segue into one of my comments because Eddie said something. I wrote down a note, and I saw. I think if you're active on Twitter, you see Tua's personal trainer active all the time, and he in response to somebody else who was talking about Tua this year and doing some different things, making some strides, and his reply was simply, "You made a good point." In he put in quotes this year. If you look at, and I don't watch other teams' social medias, I don't follow Justin Herbert, I don't follow any of the other quarterbacks. We have no choice but to watch the evolution of Aaron Rodgers or de-evolution of Aaron Rodgers into the movie of Idiocracy. But the work he put in, it is irrefutable that the
yes.
work that he put in resonated and translated onto the field this year. You can see it. I do believe he's probably lost a little bit of that. He's maybe gone back to some of his old habits, but hands down, there is no question about it that he is better this year than he was last year, and that is a direct result of the work that he put in. And to his personal trainer's point, they already know what they're planning on working on. The second that they're done playing this year, they're going to go back into the lab and start working on, okay, that foundation level is built. Now let's build the next one and drill that in until it becomes muscle memory.
If I can go back to the Tannehill comment, there's only one place that I would say Tannehill was ever better than Tua, and that is, I don't know if you guys know this, but Tannehill used to be a wide receiver.
That's news.
And I can guarantee you that Tannehill was faster at scrambling than Tua will ever be. I can I can crawl faster than Tua can when he scrambled the other night off to the left. I
That
really,
weight gain is noticeable.
it,
He
it,
went
it really
weight
is,
to get stronger, and he's just
and I'm thankful that he put that
I
weight
think
on.
Eddie said that during the season.
I'm positive that is one of the things that's helped him so much with helping him stay healthy, taking shots,
Mm-hmm.
But there's no doubt he's slower than Christmas right now, and maybe that's one of the things they work on when they go back into the lab after they win the Super Bowl. Is they work on his quickness, his agility, his speed. Honestly, I think that's probably his number one weakness. Physical weakness.
And taking hits. My God, nobody ever got back up from taking a hell of a shot better than
That's
than
a great
Tannehill.
point. And Steve, I know you know the play, and Eddie and Sammy, you probably do too. But there's a play where
Kenny Stills.
Tannehill took a shot as he let the ball go. It's never been a more perfect pass ever in the history of the NFL, and he planted it right in his was
Kenny
it
Stills.
It was Stills.
Against the Chargers, I believe.
Yeah.
That's one of those plays that should be memorialized in like the pregame of CBS or NBC or something. It's just Tannehill had talent.
Absolutely. I'm showing one of some stats on Tua. Certainly, there's a difference between last season and this season. I'm looking for a stat that said about the the time that Tua is throwing the ball, I can't find it right now, but still, I think that has to be taken under consideration. We have some. We've been worried about Tua making that second read. If he's throwing the ball so fast, how much time do you truly have to make that second and third read? You guys, especially Eddie, know more than a lot more football than I do, but that's something that worries me. He's throwing the ball so fast, not to get hurt. How much time do he truly has to make that second read, to make that third read? Or he has to just go to the timing offense. The goal's supposed to go there, so snap and go.
Now, I was on him earlier, so now I'm going to give him some credit right now because that's how I am. He makes that offensive line look really good by the way he gets rid of a football.
Yes.
And most of the time, I think he ended up with, you guys want to help me, 12 interceptions?
I think
maybe.
So.
So he gets rid of the ball. It's always better to throw an incompletion than take a sack or an interception, of course. He makes that, especially when everybody was out, when Lamb was playing, Keon Smith, Cotton. He still wasn't getting sacked. I think one game they sacked him 5 times. That was an anomaly, but that was it. He makes the offensive line look good. So that's a very good point, Sammy. He might not be able to make that second read right now because they need to have stability on that offensive line. And I tell you one guy they better resign. That's Austin Jackson, because that's a man, right?
They did.
Oh, that's right. They did. Thank God. Thanks, guys. He has turned into one hell of a right tackle. He on them running plays, he was destroying people down the field, and I love it. It was so good to have Hunt back. God bless him. Eichenberg has done a decent job at center. Even though the worm burner back to him in the end zone scared the crap out of me, Tua still made a nice pass.
It's almost as if these guys need a chance to do their job.
Yeah.
And I say it to the point where I get tired of saying it on Twitter. You know, it's real easy to, because we're microwave society, it's real easy to, get rid of him. He sucks. Yeah, he's been playing that position for 3 snaps. He didn't go into this game having practiced this position. Obviously, I'm talking about Eichenberg. Austin Jackson was 21 years old, I think, when he was drafted. And didn't he give a kidney to his sister, his twin sister?
Bone marrow.
Bone marrow.
Where he missed the whole season.
Yeah. There's factors that come into play with this stuff. And, Eddie, I'm really glad to hear you bring up Austin Jackson, because I don't know why. I think I just kind of leave that guy alone, man. Let's see if he can actually play. The offensive line has absolutely benefited from a quarterback who has a lightning release and the ability to process what's in front of him. Does that sound like anybody else that we're familiar with? Marino was famous for his lightning release. Marino went a season without getting sacked. Not a whole season, but through the course of games over 2 seasons, it equated more than a season to his getting sacked. But that lightning release makes all the difference in the world when those guys are trying to hold back the wall coming at them.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned Marino, and that's what I was thinking about. You know what the Marino phrase, pick a guy and let it fly? You can see Tua doing that. You can see Marino.
Oh, you can.
Because that's exactly why he said, I'm looking for coming from a resident viewer, Cap for Life. He had a really funny comment. He said, it's ironic you say that because the only quarter that showed up was Ryan Tannehill this weekend.
He did. He showed up. I'm like, what the hell is he doing?
He helped the Bills get into the playoffs before we even played them. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Before we jump, I just want to go back to the thing about fans and everything. And we're not the ones to define who's a fan, how to be a fan, and everything.
Right.
I think there's a unfortunate component to human nature to gravitate towards negativity. And this fan base on the social media platform is absolutely no different than that. But unfortunately, there's just way too many of those fans who I really truly believe want to be out there waving their flags, wearing their stuff and everything when the days are good. But they can't wait to come out and spike that football when they can say, I was right. I told you that Tua couldn't do this. I told you that Greer wasn't picking the right guys when seriously the walls are falling down around our team in terms of injuries, and they just can't wait to do it. And this is why I appreciate, in my older age, of surrounding myself around people who don't thrive on that negativity. And I'd like to think that that's a difference between us. We want to see and celebrate and accentuate and spike the football when the successes happen. And we grumble, we talk about it pre-production, we talk about it, a little bit, but by the time 2-3 days passes by, we're not still angry and we're not still trying to spike that negative football. And I think that's a big difference. I'm not going to say that they're not fans, that they haven't been fans their entire lives. They just unfortunately have that human nature of wanting to just be right about the negative, that they do it way too often. In the social media world right now, that microwave world that we live in, of everybody being able to congregate immediately and pat each other on the back and get that mob mentality together, they have that platform. And like you said, Matt, earlier, they're not watching it. They're not watching the media. Tua said it himself. He doesn't hear any of it unless his handler tells him about it. They're not watching that stuff, and they're certainly not tuning in to all this stuff. So, that's all I just wanted to talk about.
Absolutely. So we're gonna move along to the Chiefs game. Let me see if I can find it over here. And here we go. Now we're gonna face the Chiefs again in Arrowhead. Freezing cold temperatures. They're gonna say they might be one of the coldest games of the season, not the season of the history of the NFL. We're gonna get all the talk to this video how the Dolphins can play the cold. Listen, when you're under 0 degrees, it's cold for everyone. I don't care if you live in Kansas City the whole year or not. That's freezing temperatures. You might lose a finger on your toe on that freezing cold. So there's a point where it's so cold that it's cold for everyone. It's a mentality thing, of course. Those who are ready for the cold probably gonna have an advantage. But if the Dolphins can run the ball and Monster's back, who knows what happens? But when my daddy was running coordinator, nobody thought that the 49ers were going to stomp on the Packers. They run the ball. Monster had a career day that day, and the 49ers beat the Packers. So it would not blow my mind if the Dolphins had a way to run the ball effectively and maybe pull off an upset. So I want to know some thoughts about the game. Let's go to the stats before we do that. The Dolphins still ranked number 1 on offense.
It didn't
number
come up.
6 on rushing. Did it come up? Sorry?
No, it looked like there it is.
Okay, it's a little delay. I'm sorry about that. Similar season rushing offense, number 2 now in scoring offense. Well, the Chiefs certainly had an up and down season. They lost again, like every Super Bowl champion does. They lost a lot of talent over the years. They were Super Bowl champion last year. They were claiming how they won that Tyreek Hill trade, but afterwards this year they didn't feel so confident. I'm going to start with Matt before we go to the keys to the game. What are your thoughts overall about the games against the Chiefs?
One of my favorite things is when I love football in the snow and in the cold because it's abnormal, right? It's not something that we see all the time, and that's not just us as Dolphins fans. The entire NFL, you've got a handful of teams that have a chance to play in that type of condition and that type of weather. And here's the thing that blows me away. When they, oh my God, the Dolphins are going to have to play in 2-degree temperatures. The Chiefs are going to have to also, and by the way, it's not 2 degrees up in Kansas City or Missouri, wherever it is, all the time. It's not like they've got a refrigerated dome that they're practicing in just in case the temperature ever. They're going to be under the exact same conditions that the Dolphins are going to be under. And that takes me back to Germany. The Dolphins erased Kelsey in Germany. Can they do it again? I think it's critical that they do. My two biggest points of this game, and actually we'll call it three. Number one, can we stay healthy? Every man on deck. Let's stay healthy this coming week. The second point is get that running game going. You have it. Now you're going to have everybody back. You've got an intact offensive line. And then the third thing is find a way to replicate what you did to Kelsey in Germany. It's critical because that guy is probably a Hall of Famer, and you need to erase him and make. Where did Kadarius Toney go to school?
Stop.
Make them beat you, because that's going to give us the best chance, in my opinion, to pull off an upset on Saturday night.
Absolutely. How about you, Eddie? What are your thoughts about the game? Before we go to the keys to the game, what are your thoughts about the matchup against the Chiefs? It's good. They're going to be saying all week how this is going to be the coldest game in the history of the NFL.
All right. My brother lives in Minnesota.
Okay.
One, before he'll tell you, I've been up there when it's cold. Once it gets to a certain point, you don't know the difference.
Yep, that's correct.
You don't know the
Exactly.
difference. Nobody is prepared for this weather that's coming up this weekend.
Exactly.
Not the Chiefs, not the Dolphins, nobody. If you probably look at their roster, most of them are from the Chiefs, even from the South, because most of the good football players come from Florida, Alabama. Well, you know what I'm saying, Texas. So nobody can get ready for this weather. It's not like the heat where you can. Well, unless you're the Buffalo Bills, they're still complaining about that. One of the idiotic Bill fans said, "I hope they only plow the sideline of the Chiefs and not the Dolphins. And I hope they don't put heaters on the Dolphins side." I'm like, wow, you guys really have a problem. But it is what it is. You got to go out there. You got to play. Nobody's gonna want to kick a football, I'll tell you that. That's going to be like a freaking cement block.
Yep.
Yes.
So field goals, you might as well go for it anywhere.
Go for it every down.
Yes.
Yeah, you might as well. Punting's going to be an adventure. I don't think the winds are crazy. It'd be better if it snowed, because I don't think it's going to snow, because I think it's too cold to snow.
20% of chance of snowing.
Yeah. You have to run the ball. That's it. Shove it down their throats, neutralize Chris Jones, and run it. But nobody. If you were just talking about that, there is no advantage to either team with the weather. None.
That's what I was saying. They say about the call. Well, for the teams go to the call after after 0 degrees. That surely is something that's off the charts. I want to go to Steve. Steve. Before we go to the keys of the game, what are your overall thoughts about the game?
No, I mean, echoing everything that you guys have said here, I grew up in the cold. I spent 5 years in Montana where it gets damn cold. And it doesn't matter how much time you spend in the cold. Like everybody said here, you don't get used to it. There's no way to prepare for this. Echoing what was already been said, it gets hot in Missouri. In the off season, these guys are out traveling the world, traveling the Caribbean, wherever they want to go in the sunshine. They're not going up into Alaska or anywhere that it's really, really cold just to prepare for this. Like, saying, hey, I can't wait for that first round of the playoffs because I'm going to have an edge. There's no preparing for this. Everybody's going to be hurting from the same thing, and it's going to depend on who can control the line of scrimmage and who can run the ball. There might be a couple opportunities for some deep passes, but let's be real here. And Matt, you said it. We neutralized Kelsey that first time around. I guarantee you the biggest targets of this game are going to be the tight ends for the Chiefs. And hopefully Coach McDaniel comes out with a lot of short passing plans, not screen passes necessarily, but get them in the flats, get them short, and give them an opportunity to get a little bit of running with the ball in their hands. And we've got to establish the line of scrimmage. We have to be able to run the ball and stick with it and just as much as it's going to hurt for our defenders to try to tackle a 220-pound person running full steam downhill, it's going to hurt them to try to tackle our guys in that temperature. So I think we have a great opportunity here. I don't think the kicking game is going to be very favorable. I think, no, there's not going to be any snow, which probably will be better for traction on the field. But I think that it's going to be an opportunity to really just grind out a game, keep it close, give us a chance, give us, an opportunity to be hopeful, even if we don't have those expectations anymore right now.
Absolutely. Let's go to the keys of the game. I want to start with. Let me see over here. Okay, I want to start with to find a way to move this along since we're almost reaching the time to say goodbye. I'm gonna start with Steve. What's your offensive key to the game?
Run, and run the ball more. Hands down, that's what it's got to be. And find a way to stop Pacheco. The guy runs like he just escaped out of a mental institution. Don't give him the opportunities for yards after contact. Take him down, swarm to the ball. We control the run. We keep them from running.
How about you, Eddie?
I'll echo that. If you're going to throw, do not throw to Claypool, please. But
that's the easy one.
If you're going to do some short yardage passes, get the ball into Berrios' hands. The man's a punt returner. If the field's in any kind of slippery condition, he knows where he's going. A defender won't. He can make a miss and go. Get the ball into his hands. Of course, Hill, you can throw some over the middle passes, and I think Waddle's playing. He has no excuse. You can ice your leg right with the field this year or with this week. You just lay down on the field, you'll feel better. But yeah, Steve took them words out of my mouth though with their running back Pacheco. You have to stop him. He does. He runs mad. I don't know what happened to him earlier in his life, but he's a bad dude when he starts running. And run the ball. Just run it and run it and run it and wear them down.
How about you, Matt? What do you think is the key to the game?
The feels like temperature at game time is -17.
That's so nice of them to, after the Dolphins playing on a Sunday night game, to give them a Saturday night game in Kansas City. They could have said Sunday at 1, but no, they had to give the Dolphins.
Do we get to complain? Do we get to complain like the crybabies in Buffalo about the weather conditions? Because
if we complain, nobody will care. So why would we?
Beat it. It's already been said. Run on first down, run on second down. On third down, you want to run, and I would run the hell out of it on fourth down too. I'm being somewhat facetious. Ball control. The difference in this game, guys, is going to be turnovers because the conditions, not so much with precipitation, but just the bone-shaking cold. Turnovers are going to be a factor here. Hold on to the ball. Don't take unnecessary risks. For God's sake, Waddle, catch the ball. Tyreek, that means you too.
Don't throw from Tyreek again. He had a touchdown wide open. If he catches that ball in the middle, that was a touchdown. He had no way in front of it. I know Tua, again, like Eddie said, Tua is throwing the hill like he's 6'5", like he's Terrell Owens, I know. but still, he was so wide open. He had a chance. He hit it in the hands. He had a chance to take that for a touchdown. I'm sorry, Matt. Please continue.
Yeah, in talking about the passing game, if you're going to try and open it up, it's got to be a sure thing. A D-back falls down, kind of a sure thing. Manage the middle of the field. I agree. Get Berrios more involved in the game plan. I feel like he's been unused, and he's got experience operating in traffic. That guy's a ball player. So running it, controlling the ball, controlling Kelsey, and turnovers are going to really make the difference here.
So before we go in the segment, I'm going to go back to Steve. Who do you think is going to be the Dolphins player of the game? If the Dolphins win this game, who's going to be the player of the game? Be ready, you Eddie and Matt, because I'm gonna ask the same question to you guys.
Devon Achan.
How about you? How about you, Eddie?
Durham Smythe.
Okay.
Mostert's going to go for 219.
Nice.
Wow, that would be nice. I don't know why they're not throwing more passes to the tight end. No, I'm sorry, to the fullback. Well, Alec Ingle is a fullback. Why? If they don't have a tight, if they don't have two capable tight ends, why are not throwing more to the fullback? I don't know. The Dolphins threw it when Memory was there to Kid Byers. Kid Byers was not the more athletic guy in the world. He was a good pass catcher, but he wasn't the most athletic guy in the world. I still don't get why they don't use the fullback most as a pass catcher. I just don't get it. I will say this. I expect a lot of running by Patrick Mahomes. If they find a way to contain those runs, the Dolphins might even have a chance. But Patrick Mahomes is going to run a lot, if you ask me, during this game.
Well,
So
hopefully Sealer hits him like he did Josh Allen on the sideline, because that was a beautiful hit.
Yes, it was.
Absolutely. Talk amongst yourself before you do something. Oh, I found it. Let's go to the big finish of the top 5 power rankings. I know it's tough to do the power rankings this week. Again, it's been tough for a little while, but I still have the Ravens at number 1, the 49ers at number 2, the Cowboys at number 3, the Lions at number 4, and the Bills and the Browns tied at number 5. Do you guys have a power ranking for the week? Any?
Matt.
Yeah, I would echo your top 5 with the exception of I got to keep the Browns in the top 5. I'm not giving the Bills a spot in the top 5.
I have a 5B or 5. They're both basically the same. Of course, the Bills are hot, but
how about 8?
I just lost that. Just like to tease with the Bills fans. Of course, they're on a roll. They're a hot team right now. During the airport, a lot of Bills fans were saying, I'm rooting for you guys. You need to beat the Chiefs this week." Of course, they want to beat the Chiefs because they just can't. They want us to beat the Chiefs. I'll say, well, if you find a way to play the Chiefs, this is your deal. This is your year. It's now there for you guys. The window is closing, so they better find out where if they don't win this year, it's over for the Bills, if you ask me. But how about you, Eddie? Do you have a top 5?
Yeah, we'll go Ravens, 49ers, Dallas. Talking about falling off the edge of the earth, the Eagles. Wow,
Mm-hmm.
They've
been still calling for firing on Nick Sirianni. Can you believe that? There are people calling for his firing. No, I know it's Philadelphia. They want to fire everyone, but wow.
That's a shame. That smug bastard.
I'm so sad about that.
I know. I can't stand him.
He has such a punchable face, right? Like,
he does.
I don't preach violence, but he has a punchable face. That's the truth.
That's a punchable face. The Lions, and then I'll go with the Jets.
Oh, wow.
They just got relegated. You're pulling them up into the top 5. I love it.
I'm putting them over Buffalo. That's what I think of Buffalo.
I was salivating this week when they said they're going to have Aaron Rodgers for input about who's going to be the...
Go ahead.
Oh, man. Just please, I beg you, please give Aaron Rodgers the power to choose his players. That same guy who said didn't have any players in Green Bay, and then once he get to New York, he wanted all the players he had in Green Bay. What an idiot. Before we go, let's talk some college football, just because we did last week. I want to know your thoughts about the fact that Nick Saban, Satan himself, saying he's retiring from Alabama football. That's
good riddance, bastard. You'll never be forgiven. Seriously, good riddance. Just get the hell off TV. Don't ever want to see you again. Just go. He's been paid $11 million a year. Woo! He doesn't need it anymore. Whatever. Seriously, I don't want to see him. He screwed Miami over, and get the hell out.
How about you, Matt? How about you, Satan himself retiring from Alabama football?
I would be fine if I never heard his name again.
Absolutely.
I truly think that he's an awful human being. I hope he dies.
Oh my God!
Oh my God. Eventually it will, but I don't know when it will.
You just made Eddie cringe.
That takes a lot.
Eddie just went into witness protection.
And that takes a lot for integration. Eddie, please tell us here. What do you think about Nick Saban retirement?
Follow that, Eddie.
Oh, well, there is no following that, Matt. I don't know. I stopped hating Saban like a few years after he left because the team doctor I'll never forgive for picking Culpepper
The
over Drew
reason.
Brees, but I have no feeling either way towards him. Good for him. Go right off into the sunset. If I was them, I'd hire Belichick. Might as well go with Satan number 2 in
I think it's funny.
Alabama.
Yes, I think it's funny how now he's retiring. See that they have that NIL thing that now he has to pay the players, and he doesn't have that advantage that he just had before.
Yes.
Now he also now I'm good. I'm gonna retire. You know what's happening. And thank God for everyone. So good riddance, and may you rolling hill. Well, thank you again for another week of FINS TV. We appreciate all that you do watch. During the last part of the show, a lot of people joined the show. Please go back to the beginning of the show. We had some very good segment during the looking back at the Bills game, looking back at a feature segment is going to be posted for this Friday again. We appreciate everybody who watches, and always remember when you say Miami, are you okay, Eddie? Are you okay over there?
No,
He still can't believe that.
I'm no longer controversial.
Controversial, Armstrong.
Yeah, I've lost that.
Please send me during the week the new nickname for my Armstrong. After that, we're gonna be saying Miami. You're talking Super Bowl. Peace up, guys.
Fins up, guys.